Hello everybody, Legend for Life here, bringing you guys another deck profile. This time around it is Gemini Geminites. Now this, I actually did not come up with. This is a deck profile that a friend of mine asked me to do for you guys. He loves playing this deck a lot, and he kicked my butt left, he kicked my butt left and right with this deck. If I could find his YouTube channel, I'd put it in the description below, but hopefully he'll comment on this video. So, this is his deck, and it's basically Geminites, but with a lot of the Gemini, well, with some of the Gemini support, and it's really focused on OTKing, and it can pull an OTK out of nowhere. So first and foremost, he plays two card troopers for general milling, getting Gemini Fusion in the graveyard and pumping up its attack power. Overall a good card. He plays three Gemini Amber. Amber is one of the stronger Gemini Geminites. The strongest is Sardonyx. Amber is one of the others. Also, it's a Thunder, so you can use it for stuff like Prismara and everything. I forget what his effect is. You almost will never use these guys as Gemini effects, but however, they all have relatively good Gemini effects. His Gemini effect allows him to send a Gemini card from your hand to the graveyard to target one of your banished monsters and add it to your hand. That is really good. Will you ever get it off? I don't know. But considering how much this deck banishes for Gemini Fusion and stuff, that would actually be really nice. Then there's Gemini Ally. He's an Aqua. He's maybe just there for being a Gemini name. His Gemini effect, if you ever get to use it, is you can banish a Gemini monster from your graveyard to target one Gemini card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So, yeah, just like how Amber kind of does the opposite of that, this guy allows you to continue to extend your plays more by recouping your losses and everything. Now, again, it's kind of hard to get that because he is a Gemini, and you don't get that effect right off the bat whenever he hits the field. So you do have to use something like Supervise and everything. So next up, he plays three Gemini Lazuli and three Gemini Obsidian. These two basically do the same things, but they do it in different ways, and that is recouping your losses from fusing. Lazuli adds a normal monster in your graveyard back to your hand, and of course, as you guys all know, all Geminis count as normal monsters while in the field or in the graveyard until they are Gemini summoned. And so you're able to get back your Geminis and just continue fusing for days. Also, Lazuli gets the effect off no matter how it is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, and that goes for anywhere, and that is very important. Obsidian, what he does, if he is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can target a level 4 or lower normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. He only gets his effect whenever he is sent from the hand. Now, granted, though, he does special summon a monster, so that can help more with putting in more damage and stuff. But, however, honestly, I think Lazuli's the better one. Obsidian's nice and all, though. And then he plays three Sardonyx, and he's 1800. He's a rock. No, he's a pyro, and he's of course the Gemini. Really good for Gemini Spark and stuff. What's his effect? When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add a Gemini card from your deck to your hand. So he's kind of like a Rhoda or a Perform Pal Tiger thing that searches out whenever it destroys something in battle. So that's nice and all, but again, you're not going to get it off very often because, again, he is a Gemini. You're going to have to do something to get that effect triggered or added. So, yeah. However, the 1800 beat stick is pretty nice. And he's a Pyro, which means you can use him for Citrine, which is also really nice. And Citrine's one of the main ones you want to go for. And then he plays three Gemini Turtle. I actually kind of disagree with him on this, but however, he insists on it. And basically, it adds a Gemini Fusion from your deck to your hand. And I get it, it is nice and everything, but it's a flip. This is an OTK deck that takes way too long to flip, get the flip effects going. But hey, whatever, it does work because pretty much once you do get Gemini Fusion to your hand, it's pretty much going to be game unless they have something that can stop the attacks. Then he plays three Absorb Fusion, more for searching, less for fusing. Absorb Fusion, for those who don't know, whenever you activate it, you add a Gemini card from your deck to your hand. It can search any of the Gemini cards, even Gemini Fusion. And then you can Fusion summon by banishing Geminis you control or in your hand. Now here's the thing though. You never want to banish your Gem Knights except for Gem Knight Fusion. So that's not all that great. So luckily the fusing part is optional. If it wasn't, I would not even know if this card would be played. But however, because the fusing part is optional, this card is amazing. You just add, and then there you go. Now you can only activate one per turn, which is a bit annoying, but hey, whatever. He plays 3 Brilliant Fusion. This basically lets you fuse and summon by using monsters in your deck. This is a really good card for the deck, and it does trigger Lazuli, which means you can just plus like crazy. However, the monster that you summon comes out with 0 attack points, but however, you can discard a spell card to give it its attack points back until the end of your opponent's turn. That's nice and all. The main card you want to discard for that is Gem Knight Fusion, because it can just go back to your hand. And speaking of Gem Knight Fusion, he plays 3 of it. This is basically polymerization, but however, you have to go for a Gem Knight, and you can banish a Gem Knight in your graveyard to add this card back to your hand from your graveyard. And you can just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over. And you can spam out 5 fusion monsters very easily with this deck. And this is the main reason why. This is such a great card. And it's honestly, in my opinion, one of the best versions of polymerization I've ever seen. So there's not much else to say about this card other than that you need 3 of it. Okay. Gem Knight, he plays 2 Gem Knight Spark. All the level 4, well, all the Gem Knights that he plays that are Geminis are level 4. And of course, this is useful for that. It's useful for dodging stuff like spells and traps. It's useful for clearing out the board so you can OTK. It's useful for a whole bunch of different things, and it's really good for utility. Then he plays 2 My Body as a Shield. So if you don't know what this card does, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect that would destroy a monster or monsters on the field except during the damage step, pay 1,500 life points, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So this stops stuff like Judgment Dragon, Mirror Force, Bottomless, all that annoying crap that destroys your monsters, and is a really good counter for autos. However, you do have to pay a hefty price of 1,500. But however, other than that life point cost of it, it's a really good card and can keep your monsters from being destroyed by like a Mirror Force or something. However, the Mirror Force hasn't seen as much play as it used to, and now we are seeing more of the Storming Mirror Force. But however, I do see why he does play this. It's a really good card, and also it's really also helpful for stopping things like Torrential Tribute and stuff. Then he plays 3 Supervise. Now, for those of you who don't know, basically you equip it onto a Gemini, and that Gemini is treated as having its effect, and you can use its effect. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while it's face up on the field, you can select 1 normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So, like, this just allows for more plays for days. So one of the main things is like you can, I don't know, summon out Amber, equip this onto him, use Amber's Gemini effect, then activate Gemini Fusion, fuse, and then, oh hey, look at it, I get my Amber back. It's a really good card. Heck, it's a mandatory staple in Geminis. But however, it can be a dead card as well sometimes if like you don't have any Geminis and you're trying to like top deck something. So yeah. And then he plays a few traps. I would actually recommend playing like none, but however, I do see why he does play some, because just in case if your OTK falls flat. So there's Bottomless Trapple, really good card for stopping summons and everything. Just staple trap card, kind of. I don't really have to explain it. And then he plays 2 Storming Mirror Force over Mirror Force, because this card obviously bounces back everything, and it's a bit more destructive than Rigordale Mirror Force. And obviously your opponent won't get any of the destructive effects off. And then 1 Trap Stun for Trap Negation, because again, this is an OTK-oriented deck, and you kind of can't really deal with that. So, on to the X-Deck. He plays 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn for getting rid of annoying things like Marsh Milan or something. Gaga Cowboy for getting that last 800 burn damage. And then 1 Castell for general monster removal and stuff. 2 Gemknight Zirconia, strongest Gemknight there is, well, strongest 2 fusion Gemknight there is. However, he has no effect. But however, he's pretty good monster overall. 2 Prismara, basically what this guy does is you did a Gemknight card from your hand to the graveyard to target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. Pretty good card overall, and you can pop any monster, spell, trap, whatever, it doesn't matter. 2 Gemknight Master Diamond. My personal favorite Gemini card, basically what this guy does is he gets 100 attack for each Gemini monster in your graveyard, and once per turn he can banish a level 7 or lower Gemini fusion monster, and he gets that Gemini fusion's effects. So he's really good to go into late game, like after like your monsters get Dark Hold or something. But however, he does need 3 Geminites to go into, which is a hefty, hefty cost for this deck. And however, there are ways to mitigate that, obviously. He plays one Gemini Lady Lapis Lazuli. Oh, that automatopoeia. No, not automatopoeia. Alliteration. Can't remember my English. Okay. So what Gemini Lady Lapis Lazuli does is basically you can send a Gemini monster from your extra deck or your deck to the graveyard and burn your opponent for 500 damage for each special summon monster on the field. This deck can swarm very, very easily, and there's it just and oh yeah, and it counts your opponent's monsters as well. So you can burn your opponent for a absolute crap ton of damage, and that is a lot with just your 5 fusion monsters out on field, which you can do very easily. That's 2,500 damage. That's not even counting the special summon monsters your opponent might have. So at max, you could do 5,000 damage with this. And of course, if you send if you send Lazuli, you'll get to plus off of that. It's so stupid. And then he plays 3 Gemini Lady Brilliant Diamond. Possibly one of the best Geminites out there. Basically what she does is you tribute 1 Gemini monster you control and special summon a Gemini fusion monster from your deck. She can tribute herself if need be, but however, it's not really all that often. And I believe, yeah, okay, it's not treated as a special summon, but however, it does ignore summoning conditions, as most Geminites say they have to be first be fusion summoned. So yeah, she's a really good card for the deck. She does need 3 Geminites as well, but however, the main way you bring her out is with Brilliant Fusion. You just plus like crazy with that. Also, he's got 3,400 attack. That's strongest out of any Gemini. Then he plays 2 Gemini Citrine. Basically, what Citrine does is he's an Armades. It's as flat as simple as that. He is an Armades. Whenever he attacks, your opponent can't activate anything. Not even monster effects. No monster, no spells, no traps, nothing. Your opponent can't respond to his attacks at all. And also, if he is attacked, your opponent can't activate anything either. So he is a really good monster. He's one of your main ones that you want to go into, and he's your main one that you want to have attack first, because that obviously you'll be able to attack without any problems. And then obviously, if your opponent has something like a Mirror Force, they could use it on your other monsters. So that is my friend's deck profile. Tell me what you think, and hopefully he will see your comments below. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.